Hello everyone, welcome to the DynamicsCon 2022. A very good morning, afternoon and evening based on the reason and the time you are watching this session. I will try my level best to make the session impactful and alive, so please bear with me for the next 40 to 45 minutes. First of all, thank you everyone to vote for my session in Dynamic 365 track, and a big thanks to the DynamicsCon to providing this platform for me. I'm available on the chat, so feel free to ask your questions and I would be happy to address all of them during my session if possible. If there are still a few questions remain open, feel free to get in touch with me on my social channels. I would like to briefly introduce myself here and then I will start with the agenda for the session. My name is Ambesh Singh, 365 Saturdays Community Mentor and the Power Platform Community Ambassador. Currently working with KPMG Deutschland as a Dynamic 365 architect and a technical manager within Microsoft practice. Prior to that, I have worked with the Pearson VUE and the EA Games in the engineering group. And most of my career, I worked with the Microsoft in different product groups and the consulting. I worked with the Bing, MSN, and the Dynamics Portal product team and provided my consulting to Microsoft global deliveries. Dynamic 365 marketing elevates customer experience, allowing you to orchestrate personalized journey across all the touch points to strengthen relationship and earn loyalty. The Dynamic 365 marketing works seamlessly with the Dynamic 365 sales, Dynamic 365 customer insight, Microsoft Teams, and the other products allow you to make faster and the better decision using the power of data and the artificial intelligence. Dynamic 365 marketing consists of two primary modules along with the event management. And event portals play a very important presence here. Let's see the high level of agenda for today. I will do my best to cover as much as from the following topics and the topic even from outside of the list. In this session, we will have a quick look at what is an event portal for the event management in Dynamic 365 marketing, why and when to use that one, and the most important thing, how to use that one. The session will not be completed without learning that how to expose the custom fields to the event management entities or the services. This means you can access all of those fields that have been added to an entity by the customer or the developers. We will have a walkthrough of the Angular-based portal code and its deployment process. We will also look into the steps that how to create, update existing APIs to make communication possible between marketing and the portals. As a bonus, we will quickly go through the few of the important marketing settings. But before I would move and continue with the slides, I would like to quickly show you the portals here, that how the portals look like here. So in this particular case, if I would like to show the portals, quickly share my screen on the portal site. And here you can see the portal, the event portal look like this. So you have an event portal here and you have the banner image, you have some messages there, basically like the title of the event, then you have a date tag formats as per your locales. And then on the top of that, you have an location or the venues. And then you have a different sections on the page itself, like you have in session, you have in session tracks, then you have any speakers there. So speakers are associated with the different session or the session tracks. And then if you set up the passes, then you have a pass information as well there. So you have every information already available there. If you just go through and would like to know something more about the particular speakers, you can just click it and then you have more details about the speakers, their bio, their LinkedIn, Twitter, or the blobs URLs and so on. And at the bottom of the page, you have a different sponsorship who is sponsoring for the particular event. So those images and the information is also displayed. Following with the footer, if you want to set up the footers, you could do this. Otherwise, you can leave it alone as per your need. So now back to the presentation again. And here, if you can see, let's have the basic understanding of what are the event portals, why and where we should opt it for, and the most important question, how we can use that one. So the event website provide an online resource where people can read about your events and its speakers, create an account, register for the event, purchase passes, view their session schedules, and much more. So the event is pre-configured to fetch all of the relevant graphics and the information for each published event for the Dynamic 365 marketing and enable visitors to create a registration accounts, including the username and the password, edit their profiles, register themselves and others, colleagues or the friends for the event, choose session passes, view their event schedules and modify or cancel an event registration. So the first time you install the Dynamic 365 marketing, then the current event website is installed onto your Power App Portal solution, and it's ready to use out of the box. So the website is built using the Angular framework, which make it easy to customize it. And you can choose to host it anywhere, not just on the Power App Portal solution. The website won't be updated or overwritten when you update the Dynamic 365 marketing. So you can freely customize the copy of the installed on your portal. However, Microsoft will continue to develop the event website and improve it with each new releases for the Dynamic 365 marketing. So if you want to take advantage of the latest feature, you can always download it, compare it with your own customized site, and add it to your new features that that you like it. So you can download the Angular projects from the Microsoft Download Center, customize it on your preferred development environments, build the projects, and then either overwrite the version of your Power App portals, set it up as a new site on the portal, or host it to your own server. So the entire final site comprises just two files, a JavaScript, which is basically the main.js, and the style sheet, which is named as an style.css. As I mentioned in the last screen, the website is built using the Angular framework, and you can choose to host it anywhere, not just on the Power App Portal solution. So the following slide describes the hosting options. Hosting on the Dynamic 365 native portals has been discontinued and no longer available. So let's talk about the two remaining options: Angular site hosted by the Dynamic 365 portals and the Angular site hosted externally. Angular site hosted by the Dynamic 365 portals are installed out of the box and it's fully customizable. And on the other side, external hosted Angular site, you have to download the project, you have to customize it, and then you have to deploy it on your own server, even on the AWS, Azure, Windows servers, or anywhere you would prefer it. So now basically, if we are talking about the event information and the graphics, so both fetch the event information and the graphics from the Dynamic 365 event records directly. And when we talk about the payment gateway, so we have to build a gateway page using the native Power App Portal entities, web template, and so on, and customize it accordingly to the instruction from the third-party payment provider. But for the option 2, you have to customize the Angular app, not something on the Power App portals, but Angular app, and accordingly to the same instruction from the third-party payment provider. Also, please note the payment gateway setting on the event record for option 1, we use the setting to select a Power App portal page to use the payment gateway for each event. But for the external hosted portal, the site has this particular setting has no impact or no effects. Now, the registration accounts and the signing for the option 1, like Power App portal hosted sites implemented using the native Power App portal features. So it works out of the box. But for the option 2, you must integrate the event website with your Azure Active Directory, AAD, to enable the registration of the accounts. If we are talking about the anonymous registration settings, so now for the event records, uses the control whether attendees can register without first creating a registration account. These settings make effect for option 1, but not for the option 2, like external hosted websites. Link to the event websites for the event URL in the Dynamic 365 hosted portal, it's generated automatically for each event. Check the event URL field on the event record to find it. For external hosted website, the URL depends on whether you host the site. You can store the URL in the event record by selecting the custom event URL check boxes and then filling the event URL field values inside that one. Now, the event website consists basically the two parts. So the first one is the front end, and the second one is the REST API backend. You can implement the front end using of the available framework. That front end part is single page application and it fully customizable. The backend and the backend of the customizations, it depend on the hosting type. So you can host a custom event website in two ways. As I mentioned, like a self-hosted or the Power App portal hosted. You can build your front end or customize the provided demo in demo event website. And you also please need to note that the provided demo website is an Angular framework-based website. However, since the backend is not dependent on the front end, you can use any of the framework of your choice, your business requirements, your pricing, and so on. To get started the customizing the demo event website, you need a couple of steps. So basically, you have to download the source code from the sample website. I would share my the URL with you at the end of the session. Then you have to install the Node.js version 10.x or higher. And you have to open the command prompt or the window PowerShell and run the command to check whether the installation was already successful, like node/ or node-v. Then you also need to make sure that if you have a terminal or the shell already open, you have to restart before typing this command. Otherwise, most of the time it won't give you the right information back to you. Run the command to install the Angular CLI, like a command line interface that required to build and run the Angular application. As you know, the application built on the Angular, so you have to build it, you have to run it. And regarding the information, you could get mostly on the Angular CLI site or the links. And the command which you have to run it's a npm install -g @angular/CLI. Now you have to navigate into the directory where you have downloaded the source code and run the command to fetch all of the necessary packages that required to run the website. Npm install is the command. Please remember, or please note it down, that you need to run the command from the same directory where the package.json file is located. Otherwise, you will be having trouble to set up a project. There are public API documentation to interact with the backend service. I will explain a bit in the coming slide. And then you must have the Dynamic 365 marketing instance with the event management solution and the portal solution installed. Definitely, you need separate licenses for the marketing app as well. So the source code of the environment, like if you go to the source code in the environment folder that contains the sample configuration file for the different environment, like a self-hosted portals, portal hosted or the deployments, the development and the configuration setup for the custom event website is made by creating an environment.ts file inside the source environments folder. You can find the instruction on how to change the configuration in the related topic of the event configuration of self-hosted or event configuration of the portal hosted. You just on the Microsoft documentation sites. Some of the parameters that you need to understand before you start configuring your custom event website. So you have there is a parameter called production. You can see on the screen. So this is basically that enable or disable the production mode. For more information of this, you can visit to the Angular documentation. Then you have a build version that fields links to the version specified in the package.json file. By default, there are no need to change the property. However, if you prefer not to expose the version of the application, you can set it to the null. You have an API endpoints, the URL that point out the event management API endpoints, which is used to retrieve the information of the event and making the registration and other actions over the portals. You have a localization endpoints that point to the URL where your localization files are stored. By default, they are set, they are stored basically to the root directory. Image endpoints that specify the base URL where all of the images are served. So this configuration enables you to serve images from the different location, although which might be required if you want to use a content delivery network or like a CDN or the image processing services. So use the REST stake. This setting is specify which API is used. If set to true, then the new event management public API is used. If set it to false, then that is deprecated event management portal API is used. The API can only be used if you host the custom event website on the portals. So to use the new event management public APIs, you need to register the web applications. EM application token. So this token authenticates your web application against the event management on the public APIs. You can retrieve the application token by registering a new web application in the Dynamic 365 marketing instance. This token is not required if you are using the deprecated event management portal APIs. Is authentication enabled? So this flag, as the name suggests, whether to use the authentication supported or not. This is the user can register or sign in. If it's set to false, then the application does not display a way to sign in or the register into the portal. Use AAD B2C that specify whether you want to use as an Active Directory B2C identity management for authentication. If you want to use the Power Apps portal identity management, the flag need to be set to the false. If AAT B2C is enabled, then you need to configure the AAT B2 config variables. And now the next is AAT B2C config variables or the values that configuration objects used by the event management application when AAT B2C identity management is enabled. Otherwise, it make no impact on the application. Use mock data. That setting can be used to return mock objects instead of making, real API calls. So if you're on the dev environment, some demo environment, you could definitely use that one. Date settings are the settings that can be used to configure how the date will be formatted on your website. So if converted to local date flags, it's set to true. All the date will be automatically converted to the end user local time. Like it depend on if you already created your account, you choose your locale or the region. If not, if you're the anonymous user, then it will read your browser settings and the other settings from the system, and then it will show you the local dates accordingly. You have a language settings. So this particular settings can be used to configure how languages will be displayed, loaded into the website. So if for single language flag is set to true, the website will be loaded into the language specified in the website language LCID. And that shown language drop-down flag also to show or hide the language drop-down. So I will show you again on the portal. By default, language drop-down is visible, and the website will be, will be used the end user browser languages in that particular case. So if you can see, like if I just go quickly on the portal, on the right side, you see there's a different language options available there. I think it's a 45 plus, to be precise, I think it's 46 in the current version. So I was talking about this feature. And if I just talk about the different environment files, so as I mentioned earlier, so you see the different environments. So you have in self-hosted, or if you want to go for the D365, then you have the same settings. And you have all the values here. By default, some of the values are set by default, but if you want to override, definitely you could go and override the values. Like an example, I want that, my base customer or most of the customer, they are deriving it from the Germany, then definitely I would just make it DE-DE. I would not go with the EM.US. So this kind of settings, definitely you could move it there as per your need. Okay, so now go to the next one. And now the very interesting topic, how you will deploy the portal. So what you have to do this for, you have to open the Visual Studio Code. So Visual Studio Code is a kind of a sweet weapon here. And anyway, like we work on the Angular-based websites, Visual Studio Code is the best platform what I haven't even encountered to work on. Then you have to browse and you have to go to the local drive and then particular event websites where you have unzip your file after downloading it to the release folder. And after going to the release folder, you have to navigate to the script one, and then you have to execute the deployed to Dynamic 365 instance.PowerShell file from your terminal window. And the magic file will perform every action for you. You will see the updated on all files has been completed. And yes, your deployment has been done. All the changes would make an immediate impact on the website or the portal. If there is a CSS changes, then as the other website technologies, you just need to clear the caching or just make a hard refresh, then everything will work for you. So system customizer want to add a new field to the existing event management entity and want to see if the field, that particular field values, or would like to make some decision on that particular field values in the event website. So for example, if I create a custom new field is added to the event entity or any existing field like Microsoft event management _ streaming enabled. So the value for this event can be retrieved using the API endpoints, which is API/v2.0/event/event and then readable event ID. But the result does not contain the newly added field. So what you have to do this for that, you have to follow some of the steps. So firstly, you have to open the marketing instance, go to your advanced find, select the website table configuration table from the dropdown, and then click on the result. Then select the new website table configuration to create a new record. Enter the name of your choice in the name field. Select the entity that you want, extra field to be visible on the selected entity fields. You need to write a JSON array that contains the new custom field that should be visible through the API in selected field. And this exposes the new custom field through the API, and then you can utilize in the front end. Or the other way, like if you just go, there's a different way also. If you have an access for the marketing settings, then you just go to the marketing instance, to the settings, then event management section, and then you have to, go and follow the same step which I mentioned in the previous slide. So let's quickly go through and see like how it make an impact. So what I would do, I would just quickly open the event record. So I could show, okay. the website table configuration. So you have to go to the setting, and the setting, then you have to go to the event management here. In the event management, you will find something called the website table configuration. You could go to the website table configuration, open the respective record if it is for the event, the speakers, passes, or whatever. And here you just need to mention the fields which you would like to expose to the APIs as in custom fields. So you could mention any of the default fields from the existing solution, or you could create a custom fields and then update those values here in a comma separated way. And how it will be making an impact on the front end, let's just quickly go and see this. And this, and just give me a second, let me drag this here, and then we will see on the network quickly. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to make a hard refresh for the portal here, and we'll see all of the values which is available here. Okay, so I refreshed it. So it started performing the request, and now the calls started going out and in, which is good. Just give some seconds to the website. Your request already went out. I just quickly check for the API things. And now if you can correlate in the custom field, I can get the MS event management, Microsoft event management streaming enable values to the false. So this is directly coming from the respective record. If you want to expose more field, you can definitely go and expose that one. There is no downside for that one. And definitely if you go for the extensive or enterprise level of implementation, you need to expose a lot of the custom fields or the system fields to the APIs. The important thing about the sample data, that gives you something to experiment with, you like if you want to learn or something, and it also helps you to see how the data has been organized in the system. So if sample data is not installed on your trial instance, you can simply go to the sandbox instance, or like trial or sandbox instance, you might need to add it for the training purpose. So to simply go to your settings, like to enable or manage the sample data, go to your settings of the marketing, and then other settings, and then from the other setting, you could go to the sample data. From here, you can see if you can, install or choose whether to add or remove it from there. One important thing which you need to be focused here, to help to prevent unwanted result, you should avoid, mixing the sample and the production data together. So we recommend that you only install the sample data on the trial one, preview one, or the sandbox instances, definitely not on the production instances. Note also that although a command to remove the sample data is provided, it may still have some sample data behind, so that you might still need for the manual, you manually delete some of the records, because if you already make some references, those will not be rolled back if you uninstall the sample data from the system. Also, you need to make note that the sample data includes the sample design for marketing automation features, such as example, marketing email, marketing pages, customer journey, and more. So these elements are provided in a draft state, which means that you have to activate each relevant records by opening it and choosing go live before you can use it. So customer journey in particular, which you combine many of these elements like the marketing email segments and so on, or the event itself, will give several warning messages on the error check to remind you to activate each relevant element. So these warnings are normal and to be expected. So just read the messages and go live with each listed record as needed. Now, the most of the information shown on the websites come directly from the event model, and there are various related records. So all you need to get the website online is to make that all the information is available in the Dynamic 365 marketing, and that the event itself plus its relevant session and the track, and set it to publish on the website. So the event and all of this setting remain editable even after you go live, and make changes, to make an event, to make the live event and its related live records will immediately be reflected on the website too. So the default value for the publishing states are draft, ready to go live, in progress, live, and the cancelled. So other than live, all of the other values are just for the information purpose. So you can, use them to track your work progress, to collaborate or coordinate with your co-workers and the different team members, who is like marketing managers and other marketing peoples. So publish each event manually by opening the event record and selecting the go live on the command bar. Unpublished event won't be shown on the website at all. All the published event are listed on the all event pages of the website. So what all the fields from the event get moved, or you can able to get it via API. So event name, start date, time, end date and time, your primary venue, your description. So these information could be fetched out from the event. If you need further more information, definitely you can use you can expose the custom APIs in that particular case, or you can go with the custom fields to add into the existing APIs. So publishing each session manually by opening the session record and selecting go live on the command bar. And unpublished session won't be shown on the website for sure. Each published session is listed on the session page of the event it belongs to, on the speaker page for the speaker presenting it, and the session track page for the tracks it belongs to. So what all the fields are exposed, like you have a session title, you have a start date and the time, you have end date and time, you have a session summary, you have a detailed description, you have a session tracks, you have a duration for the sessions. So those all the information has been pushed to the portals in that particular case. And then you have a speaker, so that is automatically published. You don't have to publish a speaker separately. So it automatically published when you publish a session they are assigned to. And speakers are listed on the front page of each of the event where they are speaking, on the speaker page, on the session page for each session where they are running it. A speaker profile page show the additional details on the schedule of the session of that speakers, like the name, photo, title, about LinkedIn, Twitter, websites, URLs, and so on. I have already shown you initially. And then publishing each track manually by opening the track records and then setting it to publish state to the go live. For session tracks, the publish status menu is located on the general tab instead of the header bar. So please don't search on the header one. And then unpublished tracks won't be shown on the website. So any unpublished data won't show to the website, even it's a session track, session event, anything. Then published external track are listed on the session track page of the event they belongs to. Each session track shown its name and the list of the session that belongs to with the links. So you can publish external links, not internal one. And basically the name and audience would be exposed to the case. Then the important one about the passes, they are again published automatically when you publish the event they belongs to. All the passes associated with the published session tracks are listed on the pass information page for the event that track belongs to. So the system track the number of the passes available and the number assigned, and indicate when the passes are sold out. So what the information you will get it from the pass, like the name of the related tracks, the pass prices, and the sold out status, like how many are sold out and something like that. Sponsors are published again automatically, like a speaker. So when you publish the event they belongs to, so a sponsor associated with the published event are displayed at the bottom of the most of the pages of the website for those event. If you want to change it, you can make the changes into the Angular code, and then you could surface it to the different location. So the website provide several per event configuration option that you can set up using the relevant event record without needing to customize the event code. So that including graphics, checkout, and the payment options. The website features a banner image for each event is also shown, speakers, photos, or the sponsor logos. So speaker images come from each speaker records, not from the related contacts record. Please remember, it's coming from the speaker record. To upload the speaker image, you have to go to the event, you have to go to then participant speakers, and then open the relevant speaker record and then upload the image from there. The same is for the sponsorship as well. So you have to go to events, then sponsorship management, and then sponsorship, and you have to just upload the sponsorship image against that one. Now, set registration options, they are really, really important when you work with the portals or the event websites. So enable CAPTCHA, set it yes to include a CAPTCHA field on the registration page, set it no to hide it. So the setting works on both the portal hosted and the external hosted websites. Please remember it worked on both of them. So don't miss it out. And then create a lead for the event registration. So that features enable lead generation for the event. that a new record will be generated for each time when you register for the contact or the registered contact. When the new event registration is received, Dynamic 365 marketings look internally to see if the matching records or the contacts record are already exist or not. So if match is not found, or if it is found, then a new record registration is created, and it's linked to the contact. If matches are not found, and in that particular case, a new contact record has been created and the link to the new registration records. So your admin can choose to the match incoming registration by email alone, or the first name and the last name, or email first name last name all together. So it's totally based on your business need. If you choose to enable lead generation for the event, then the new lead will also be generated for each registration and the link to the appropriate contact. The system won't attempt to match of any existing lead. To control whether or not to be generated new leads for the event, open the event record and set the create lead for the event registration option to yes or either no. Enable multi-attendee registration. Simple. That feature enable users to register for the multiple attendees together, like your colleagues, your friends, or your co-workers, anyone, if you want to register along with you. So allow anonymous registration if you're using hosting the event website or a Power App portal. Set it to no, to require all visitors to create an event website account before they can register themselves or other for an event. So set it yes to allow visitors to register without creating an event website account. These settings has no effect if you're hosting your website externally, like your event website externally. Allow registrations to create their own agenda. So what you have to do, you have to go to the agenda tab and then set allow registration to create their own agenda option to yes. If you want to use the session level registration, set it to no if you want to use the past level of registration with optional online payment example. So to find the URL, of your sample event website and open it, you have to go to the event record. You have to go to publishing state to set to live. Open the general tab and find the key information section. The event URL field here to show the address of the website, the URL provided automatically if you are using the event website that was installed together with the Dynamic 365 marketing. But if you are hosting the site somewhere else, you or another users must mark the custom event URL checkbox and specify these values are required. Then you have to provide the values for that. Then you have to select the globe button at the right edge of the fields to open the URL in that particular case. So which basically consists the domain and path and the readable event ID, where domain and path is located where you install the event website on your portal or the external site. And the readable event ID is a readable ID that was generated first time you save the event record based on your event name with some numeric values. To find these values, open the relevant event record, go to the general tab, scroll to the website section, and then where you will find the readable event ID. If you leave off this ID, then the event website open to the list of all, it will open the homepage in that particular case where you have all the available events available. Many countries, regions, including the European Union, require that you can get consent before sending a cookies to the user machine if your organization is responsible to aware of and conform to all the relevant laws and the regulation in markets where you operate, including consent to set the cookies. So Dynamic 365 marketing use cookies basically in three ways, like marketing pages, where they pre-fill the information based on that, and there are so many other things, your visiting history and everything. So the thing is, it won't give you the cookies compliance things. It just give a warning to the user. So you need to be very careful if you're using the cookies, and you have to set up it by your own. All the compliance check. Then the website feature also use the cookies, like if they have to see if there's a matching visitors IDs and some other information, relevant information. So you must add it before adding it to the website script page that markets to residents of the relevant countries or the region. And finally, the event portal uses the session cookies to enable the content or the contacts to sign in and register for the event. Additionally, it also uses to store the user language example. Then if you choose to go with integrated with the Power App portals, when you have installed Dynamic 365 marketing, then you were able to choose an initial subdomain of the portal. And like example, my subdomain.powerapportals.com, you could change it while installing or even after that, but please make it sure if you are not satisfied and you change the subdomain, then you can change it, but the base domain must be still powerportals.com, so you can't change that one. And changing the subdomain of the portal will affect all of the Dynamic 365 marketing features that are integrated with the portal, like including event website to all events and marketing pages that are already published. So this means that all the existing links to those resources will no longer work. And after you change the subdomain, the most important thing here, if you example your subscription center, so which is must be accessible by law in many countries and the region via a link of all marketing emails that you send. So be sure you plan carefully when you choose the change of the portal subdomain. And yeah, if your subscription center is hosted on the portal, then especially it is important for you to update the URL as described in the following procedure. So if you don't use if you don't do risk sending marketing emails messages to violate local laws, or to making some wrong impressions to the community or legality, you should avoid that one. And also after you are working on subscription links, so you should consider sending an announcement about the changes to all of your contacts in your market. If you are organized, like it's your organization responsibility to ensure the marketing initiatives are full in conformity with all the relevant laws and the regulations. So subscription center is really play an important role in the complete journey of the marketing. And basically now you have an enable demo payment confirmation, so you can enable and disable it based on your need. So remember, if you must only set the enable demo payment confirmation to yes when you're presenting demo of the event website. You must always set it to no before going to the production, because then if it simulates the payment feature can introduce the security vulnerability if enabled in the production environment. So we should avoid that one. Regarding the language support, it supports 45 plus language. You need to take care of localization file in the solution. As I mentioned, you can get it in the localization and all the JSON. So you could put it labels and then you can use it entire solution like in the complete AngularJS code. Then how you can create a custom API. This is again one of the important thing. You have to create the web template, then you have to create a page template. So it's simple. Like if you worked on the Power Portal, then you should be aware about that one. So example, if I just open this show you on the window. So I just normally wrote a liquid syntax here, and it is just fetching the information from the event, the particular event location URL, which is pushed to the cloud. After creating that one, you have to create a web pages parent event as an API event. You have to create the page template. Then you have to create the entity permission for file because you're using the file control or the field inside. You definitely need to create the entity permission for the events. And once you will done all of these things, then you go to check in the developer tools, like the way I have checked, or you can directly hit to the endpoints on the browser, and you can see all of the information there, which is being mentioned. So quickly, if I can show you again on the browser, second, like example, I just hit it on the browser, and then you can see the JSON response back to here. So it gives you one of the URL, which is basically written there. And just to quickly check it here, 1 second, here. So here I'm just pushing, calling the API and events, and it should give me the travel information, which is returning it from my code. Okay, now quickly go to the next one. So I have compiled a few links here, and it will be very useful for your journey for the development and configuration of the event portal. Like you have the best practices, how to set up the event passes or the payment gateway, how to download the sample website, from where you get the event related information about the event APIs and what's new coming and so on. Like if you have to just go and submit some of the ideas, so you could definitely go and leverage those platforms. You can connect me on my social platform. Ask your queries on my Twitter handle at Ambisha19. Scan the code and connect me over the LinkedIn. Subscribe my YouTube channel for slides and more demos on the Azure, Dynamic 365, and the Power Platform technology. I'm really thankful to all of you to spend your valuable time today, and looking forward for your positive feedback and suggestion. I hope you will find the session interesting and useful, at least to find a new dimension on your event portal implementation and points to consider. I would like to open the floor for the question and discussion now for the live Q&A. Thank you so much again.
Welcome, everyone. Ambesh, thank you. That was a great session. I know nothing about event portals, so this was great for me. Did you have any quick additional tips to add before we jump into the questions?
No, I think we will start with the questions, and then if the time remains, then maybe I could provide some of the tips and tricks for the event portals.
For sure. So everybody stay till the end. That's when our really valuable tips and tricks will be happening. We had a few questions coming in the chat, and please, people, keep adding your questions in, and we'll try and answer them in this time. This question came in earlier. I think you answered it in the chat, but let's talk about it. The question was around the Node.js frameworks such as Vue, React, etc., and are those supported to be used in these portals?
Okay, so regarding why we are using the portals, because it's give the common platforms to run my complete event management cycle, like starting from the event invitation to the event registration, managing all of your stuffs, your sessions, your passes, and everything over the portals. Even if later on you want to cancel it, you can just make some customization to download the session certificates or the involvement certificates for the particular event. So all of the things which is available right now. Apart from that, like if we want to extend at some point of time, so the marketing forms, which is the base of the event portals, we can use it at any of the place. So apart from this particular, I would say the application, we could use on maybe on other places if it is built on the HTML or other JavaScript platforms, or even on the other external websites as well. So the extendability is quite much possible. The second thing, can we extend the same framework? So I would say at some point of time, yes, but we are feel free to just create a new framework and use all of the APIs which is provided by the Dynamic 365. So we can definitely extend that. We can create our own frameworks using views, using React, using some Kendo UI things, or anything what we can develop for, and we can extend the web APIs in that particular case.
Okay, cool. We had another question. Is the Power Apps portal required to embed the page externally?
Okay, it's a tricky one. So what I would say related with that, once you install the event, or basically once you install the marketing application, by default, one of the portal will be associated with that. So you will get one portal already associated with that, where you can host this Angular-based, web application by default with that. So you don't need a separate license for that one to host the portal, which is already by default the part of the packages. I think it's around $1,500 per instance. It's not user based. And if you already have the Sales Hub or Sales Insight or something, then I think it's reduced to $750 or something. We need to check it, but it's something like that. So it's already the part of that one. Apart from that, if you want to extend, some other custom functionality over the portals apart from the event portal, definitely you could get the another portals on the same instance without any problems. So that is pretty much possible there.
Okay. And I think that's kind of related to this other question we had around, should we be using the event site hosted by Dynamics 365 portals, or should we host that externally? Is that kind of related in the same
Yeah,
idea?
so I would say there is no black and white answer for that one. So you have your own benefits like portal user management, anonymous registration settings, event URL generation, and so many other things are already integrated and out of box with the Dynamic 365 portals. But for the self-hosted, we have to take care this as an additional, additional efforts, additional development, additional involvement of the team to achieve that one.
Okay.
So if I had to choose, I definitely go with the Dynamic 365 portal integrated with that. If the cost is not an issue and if I don't have any specific requirements, that why should I go with the external hosted website?
Right. If you can do it, that's easier. So that's what you recommend, right? Okay, great. Also, you talked a little bit about language settings. Do you want to talk a little bit about those and maybe some of the struggles that come with like working in environments with multiple languages and things like that?
So let's start with how to pick up the languages. Like on the portals, on the header bars, we have the language drop downs available. The main part is maybe if we can just go through the video like later on, not now on the YouTube. There I shown the complete structure of the Angular site. So there we have all of the JSON file available, and those JSON file actually represent every language settings or the language code. So we have a separate JSON where we have a language code 1031, 1033, and so on. There are some static labels available there, but we can make it dynamically by putting the placeholders into that one. There are already predefined set of the translations available with those files. So if we have to example customize some things, we have to make sure that okay, those actually translation need to be provided in the respective files which we have planned to use that one. And apart from that, how the language picked it by default. So Portal picked language by default based on the user browser settings and store all those values into the LCID variables via cookies. So if that setting is disabled, then user has to choose the values from the language dropdown in the header bars. Otherwise, they by default it pick it what is your browser default setting. So if you browser have a example German or English or some other language, it pick by default those language.
Okay, cool. Quick reminder for our attendees, if you guys have questions, please get those in the chat now. We have just a few minutes left and there's a little bit of a delay between when you type it and we see it. So if you have another question, drop those in there. Something else that we also wanted to talk about was, can we talk a bit about like our software development life cycle and those kind of things? So can we integrate our event portals with DevOps and our CI/CD pipeline? And how do you handle those things, or what do you recommend there?
Definitely, like this automation is the key of now every successful projects, I would say. So yes, we can integrate the complete development cycle with the DevOps using for the CI/CD things. Even we did it for a few of the customers or internal users in the organization. So important thing here, like it's unlikely like the other Power App portals. So in the other Power App portals, you have to just take care about the portals configuration and those migration of the data. Here, we also need to set up a pipeline for the Angular-based solution because that is also a component where you made the changes, where you extract it, where you want to deploy those changes along with your portal. So in this particular pipeline, yes, at one part, you are deploying the portals directly, like the portal which we got it via portal management app, those all the configuration and the changes. At the same time, we have to deploy separately as a solution for the Angular-based solution, which is available for the customization. So these two things we always need to take care about.
Okay, cool, perfect. All right, we have just 2 minutes left, so let's throw in one more question. Do you want to talk about payments? So is there a payment gateway that's already integrated into the event portals, or how do you set that up?
So regarding the payment gateway, I would say we have to set up the third-party provider by our own. But the good part with this configuration, like if we are using the like a dynamic 365 portal, like a hosted portals, most of the settings we can just need to put it on and everything will be automatically available for us. Like we don't need to do much customization there. But if we are going with external hosted portal or some external application where we just go through all of these changes, in that particular cases we have to do the development from the scratch. Like we have to take care of each and everything. But yes, there are third-party providers. We just need to follow their guidelines. It's quite simple, quite quicker one, and yeah, everything can be done in a smoother way.
Okay, perfect. All right, we just have, I guess, 30 seconds left of our time here. So thank you so much to everyone who participated in the chat and for answering, providing questions. And thank you for answering our questions live. Do you have anything else to share with our attendees before our session ends?
No, I think Dynamic 365 based this portal, the event portal, the marketing portal have a great capabilities. We should definitely explore for that one. And basically like it's backed by the Microsoft itself. So it's not by some third party or something. So we can have some level of trust on the performance, on the market guidelines or the community guidelines. Example, I just mentioned about the unsubscribe things, subscription centers, so everything is the part of that one. And definitely there are a lot of improvement coming in the few future releases. So we have to just keep eye on that, explore. That is the only thing which I can tell you right now.
Well, excellent. Thank you so much. I know I learned a lot. I hope our attendees learned a lot. And you already shared your contact information. So everybody, connect, follow on YouTube and watch all the tutorials. And we'll look forward to learning more about portals soon.
Thank you everyone for their time, and especially to you guys.